the impact of this storm. When I checked into my hotel here earlier at the crossroads of a couple of these eastern Pennsylvania highways, people were coming off the highways to ask if there were any rooms that were still available because of the flooding from this storm that was occurring. People weren't able to go anywhere. It was for the last several hours that this county road outside of here was closed as the local fire resources were trying to conduct multiple water rescues here in Chester County, Pennsylvania, asking for boats from neighboring jurisdictions. You can see that the rain is continuing to come down, and it's still gusty at times. But now, as we are continuing to watch this rain move through, beginning to get the back end of it here in Pennsylvania, we're going to see tomorrow in daylight the impacts that Ida still had days after landfall, not even as an official tropical system anymore. Again, forcing the National Weather Service to declare things like flash flood emergencies and tornado warnings for the Philadelphia metropolitan area. And now at this 9 o'clock hour on this Wednesday, moving into places like New York City, Jared, where you're watching that tornado warning for New York City. It's an incredible storm.
Yeah, this is certainly very, very, very. It's unusual, and the tornado threat up there is not over by by any long shot. We have. I'm going to go back to. I'm going to get the watches configured up here.
Yeah, I can tell you that the watch for like Long Island, for instance, which is I think the furthest watch east, goes until 1 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense. I'm just gonna zoom out here real quick and just give you all a general idea of what this looks like. I'm gonna take myself full, and I'm gonna take the radar full here. And yeah, so here's your tornado watch. This is a standard tornado watch still in effect. Along the east side here, still plenty of inflow, still plenty of wind shear. We were watching that earlier, and there's still plenty to hang your hat on with that.
And I'll tell you, Jared, I'm worried about this. Just looking at the power of this storm continuing at this hour, it's nighttime, and this storm is still continuing to impress us.
Yeah, and James, as we know, nighttime tornadoes are not exactly. That's not something that we generally like to do here at all. Much less in places that don't do nighttime tornadoes.
And I'll tell you, for anyone who knows me, or anyone's about to know me, I have family and friends on Long Island. That's where I grew up, and I called my sister before. And we don't have a NOAA weather radio in the house that we grew up in. I think I'm about to change that because it is needed at least a couple times a year. But I just reviewed with her the steps to make sure that her iPhone was prepared to receive the wireless emergency alerts. You go into settings, you go into notifications, and you need to make sure those government alerts are turned on. And I told her, don't put your phone on silent tonight, keep it on, because if you get a tornado warning, I want that phone to wake you up. I want you to go into the basement. This is a part of the country where there are basements. And then I want you to call me so I can tell you what the hell's going on. But I made that call tonight, and that's one of the keys. We talk about multiple ways to get warnings, especially at night. Emergency, NOAA weather radios, TV, local weather apps. Sometimes it just comes down to someone calling you and waking you up or telling you what's going on, or in this case, keeping that open line of communication.
You can be that source of weather information for somebody you love. If you hear the warning and you know somebody is there, calling them, that is a great thing to do. That's something that we're always going to encourage people to do in our neck of the woods. James, in your neck of the woods, obviously, as you have family up there.
It's very unusual. This is very unusual for this part of the country. Yeah. It's not that it never happens, but it is few and far between.